Barnaby Rudge, written by Charles Dickens, narrated by Geoffrey, Giuliano, and the Icon Players.
Icon Audio Arts.
Welcome to the icon world of classical literature. Within the art of writing, there is a very special category reserved for what we generally agree to be stories and tomes which are a significant cut above, which so elegantly describe the human condition, winding their way word by word, chapter by chapter, through a delicate web of beautiful storytelling, as to remain untouched by even time. Those are, by definition, the classics. When the synergy of truth, intelligence, and insightful description come together in a tale which moves one emotionally, inspires and educates, those works are indeed classic. To be so in tune with one's literary powers as to create, often from imagination, a story full of emotion, tender at heart, and overflowing with some illumined truth from deep inside, so that it can be universally recognized and relived by the eyewitness. That, too, is a classic. Here at Icon, we go far beyond the recommended reading list of the studious English language major to bring you what is the elemental soul of the art of the written word, so that you may, in your own way and time, enter into the story laid out before you to be forever changed and just that much more enlightened. That, then, is the true power of classical literature, and our humble attempt at its presentation herein as an audiobook to remember. Welcome.
One of the two historical novels Charles Dickens wrote, Barnaby Rudge, is set around the Gordon Riots in London in 1780. The story begins in 1775, with Barnaby, his mother, and his talking raven Grip fleeing their home from a blackmailer and going into deep hiding. Joe Willett similarly finds he must leave his home to escape his father's ire, leaving behind the woman he truly loves. 5 years later, these characters, and many others whose lives we have followed, find themselves caught up in the horrific Protestant rioting led by Sir George Gordon. The mob, which reaches some 100,000 strong, gets out of hand, and there is great danger for all in its path. Dickens, as always, skilfully weaves the lives of his many loving and many wicked characters through the rioting, and shows how this uprising changes so many lives forever. As a side note, Edgar Allan Poe is said to have been inspired by Barnaby's raven Grip when he wrote his famous poem, The Raven.
Chapter 1. In the year 1775, there stood upon the borders of Epping Forest, at a distance of about 12 miles from London, measuring from the Standard in Cornhill, or rather from the spot on or near to which the Standard used to be in days of yore, a house of public entertainment called the Maypole, which fact was demonstrated to all such travellers as could neither read nor write. And at that time a vast number both of travellers and stay-at-homes were in this condition. By the emblem reared on the roadside over against the house, which, if not of those goodly proportions that Maypoles were wont to present in olden times, was a fair young ash, 30 feet in height, and straight as any arrow that ever English yeoman drew. The Maypole, by which term from henceforth is meant the house, and not its sign. The Maypole was an old building, with more gable ends than a lazy man would care to count on a sunny day. Huge zigzag chimneys, out of which it seemed as though even smoke could not choose but come in more than naturally fantastic shapes, imparted to it in its tortuous progress, and vast stables, gloomy, ruinous, and empty. The place was said to have been built in the days of King Henry the Eighth, and there was a legend, not only that Queen Elizabeth had slept there one night while upon a hunting excursion, to wit, in a certain oak-panelled room with a deep bay window, but that next morning, while standing on a mounting block before the door, with one foot
Sample complete. Ready to continue?